adjuster. Primary adjuster is a 1/4 inch Allen socket. The nut, a 7/8. 5/8 wrench. Go over to your drain plug. Now I'm going to drain the fluid. I've taken orange fingernail polish, made 2 dots, that way I line my shifter back up to where I had it whenever I'm finished. Your forward control mounts are a 5/16 hex head socket. Shift lever is a 1/4 inch hex socket, and you must thread it out and take it out completely in order to slide your shifter arm off. So next I'm going to take all of the pressure off of the clutch. Just slide your little boot up. We'll take a 1/2 inch wrench and a 9/16. It's just a jam nut, shouldn't be very much pressure on it. What I'm going to do is, as I'm turning, just want to make sure that I am holding my clutch lever all the way back. You need to make sure you keep pressure on your derby cover, and that way that whenever you are taking it off, that you don't lose the seal and the spring. As I'm going to take off the little keeper, and it holds the spring. Right here's going to be your ramp. What you need to do is you need to turn it to the right, and as you turn it to the right, the adjustment nut for this ramp will come out. So there, when you have that off, you can throw it on the ground.
I threw it on the ground!
Control. The way you take it off is you rotate it 90 degrees. We'll do that. There's a notch that it slides in, and you can take that out. Once you take that out, you'll be able to take off the keeper for the end of the clutch cable, or clutch cable held in with a 9/16. Derby cover uses a Torx 27. So on your primary cover, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start right here. Your second bolt will be right here in front of your drain plug. Continue all the way around. Skipping over that one, going all the way back around. Primary cover. My bolts are a 3/16. Oh, the power of an impact. Little tink or two with a rubber mallet. There we go. There you have it off. You want to make sure you clean everything out, that you inspect your shoe on your adjuster. This nut right here is the one that everyone hates. It's a 1 1/8" nut. The issue that you run into though is you have to have something to lock all of this in place. I don't have the locking tool. So what I'm going to do is use a 4-inch brass door hinge. Just want something that's not going to damage clutch or the stator housing. I'm going to heat it up and try to get the Loctite to break loose. Once you heat it up, I was able to push down on it, and it'll feel like that this is giving way, but that's really not the case. Once you end up doing that, it just breaks free. And there she be. You need to take a snap ring off, which is here, which would take you some good snap ring pliers. You can take this right here off, which that's part of your throwout bearing. That's the whole assembly. This C-clip right here is what holds that into your clutch basket. So you remove that and you're able to get to the nut. This nut on your clutch basket is 1 3/16. So you have to turn it to the right to break it loose. Once you have the nut loose, you can remove the nut as well has removed the conical washer. Also has inscribed the word out. You have to slide the stator cover and clutch basket off simultaneously in order to be able to remove them as an assembly. I'm going to soak my clutch plates. Energy One recommends that you soak them for 15 to 20 minutes. Basically going to pour some in the gallon freezer bag and let it soak for 20 or 30 minutes. You can just put all those down in the bag at the same time. You close your bag up. You just want to make sure that you sort of separate the plates. And that way you're getting all of the surface area. Installation is just in reverse. Put it back on as an assembly, install the nut. Just remember that it is left-handed thread. So once you install your clutch basket assembly nut and washer, install your locking tool and your 4-inch hinge. Apply pressure to keep it in place and torque it to between 50 and 60 foot-pounds. Once you have the clutch hub nut tightened to proper specs, you will want to clean the threads to remove any contamination and apply 2 to 3 drops of red Loctite. Once snug, insert your locking tool and tighten your main shaft nut to approximately 240 to 250 foot-pounds. Now that that's complete, we can remove our factory clutch and install our aftermarket clutch. You need to be extremely careful not to damage the teeth that are on your clutch hub. There's your C-clip on the inside. There's your retaining ring, and the thicker edge goes to the back. I'm going to take all of the tension off of this because I've got my new spring plate right of there. You need to be mindful as well not to damage the threads. What you've got is you have a shoulder, thicker on this portion than what it is on this side. And that shoulder will go in first. It keeps it from being compressed down. It can't compress any more than that, so that's what that does. It's always nice to have picks of various sizes in order to be able to do certain jobs or what have you. And it makes getting a clutch out a lot easier. That right there is your grenade ring. As a preventative measure, I'm installing the clutch so I can get rid of this. And what you want to do is you want to go through your basket and look through there and make sure that you don't have any burrs or anything like that. If that's the case, then you need to take a file. It's going to limit you from putting everything back in. And now we're going to put in the Energy One Extra Plate Clutch Kit. We've been letting the friction plates soak. They've been soaking for about 45 minutes now. You want to start out by letting them either drip dry or wiping off the excess. I'm going to start out with a friction plate followed by a steel. As long as you have installed everything properly, you will end up with a friction plate on the outside. And there's how you install an extra plate clutch kit. Now we're going to reinstall all of the gaskets in the primary cover. I've already removed and reinstalled the new shifter seals. Make sure whenever you're putting your primary cover on that you push up to get your primary chain over top of the shoe. When installing your primary cover, make sure you follow the proper torque specs, which is 100 to 120 inch-pounds. And remember to follow the bolt pattern, which is 1, 2, and then clockwise. I've already installed my new drain plug O-ring. Installing your drain plug, just make sure you don't over tighten it. Next, I'm going to reinstall my clutch cable. Now I'm going to install my cable retainer, my clutch ramp assembly. Next, I'll be installing my clutch adjustment nut. And remember, this is a left-handed thread. Turn it until you feel pressure, turn it forward 1/4 of a turn. So now I'm going to reinstall my keeper. I've already installed my new derby cover O-ring. When installing your derby cover, take note of where this notch is. It needs to go where your cable is located. You'll need to keep pressure on your derby cover to keep the spring and the retainer in place. You need to tighten the bolts in your derby cover in the star pattern to between 80 to 120 inch-pounds. Once you're finished with your derby cover, mount your forward controls and tighten them up. You want to adjust your clutch cable till you have about 1/8 of an inch of slack at your clutch lever. Also, make sure that you snug up the jam nut on your adjuster. Using a clean funnel, fill your primary with 1 quart of oil. Per specifications, tighten your primary chain up to have between 3/8 to 1/2 of an inch with a cold motor. With your new gasket and O-rings that came in the kit, reinstall your primary chain inspection plate.